And really, wasn't that the point? Plunging her fingers into the dirt, Shauna took a deep breath, letting the smell of fresh mulch transport her back to those days right after college, when she and the president lived in that little yellow rental house in Michigan, with the bad toilets and the narrow garden that flooded with every rain. 2 weeks after moving in, she got the news that her mother had died. The garden saved her then. She cared for it, and it blossomed. Her matchless burgundy dahlias, which she used to wear in her hair, 3 kinds of tomatoes. When they were running for governor, she dug up 200 tulip bulbs from her mother's garden and planted them in her own. Even when your mother's gone and your husband's working so hard he only comes home to sleep, you can count on your garden. You plant it sprouts, life blooms. That's not some cheap metaphor for life. It's a basis for sanity. Everyone needs something they can count on, a world they can own all themselves. Damn it, the First Lady muttered, down on her knees and tugging with her bare hands on a buried tree root. The root was heading toward her precious bed of English bluebells, set to bloom this spring and perfect for cutting. Even before Orson's presidency started, Shauna had known she'd need a garden. During the campaign, she'd felt the burn that came with the spotlight of public life. And she'd had it all planned. On her very first night in the White House, she had sought out a little patch of land among the flower beds of the rose garden. It would be her ground, her sanity. Telling only the Secret Service, she'd slipped outside at 5 a.m, knelt down in the dark, and planted the seeds of coral bells and morning glories. Many of the seeds came from her grandparents' flower bed by way of her mother's. Shauna had even grown early spring flowers in college, in an inconspicuous patch of ground she commandeered behind the dorm. She'd planted more flowers, even some vegetables, when she and Orson lived in that old rental house, and even later when they were in the governor's mansion. Would she stop now, when she needed it most? Please. She never told reporters she was a gardener or tried to use it for political gain. Somehow that would ruin the purpose. No matter where life took her, or what her critics said, they had ripped her apart for gaining weight during the first year of her husband's presidency, the freshman 15 First Lady. Here was the one patch on the entire planet where Shauna Wallace, wife of the president, could run things just the way she wanted to. Gotcha, the First Lady whispered, gripping the buried tree root and pulling hard. God, the cold March dirt felt good, and it smelled so fresh, full of promise. Winter had put so much on hold. She loved getting back to work in the earth. With a sharp tug, the root began to yield, though not by much. Leaning on her left elbow and probing blindly into the dirt, the First Lady felt tunk. Something solid. Not a rock. The root felt weird, almost soft, spongy. She turned and pulled a penlight from her toolkit, shining it into the hole and squinting down to see what was in there. Under the dirt, it looked light gray, but as she pulled it closer, it was greenish-blue, with a tint of pink, like skin. A hiccup erupted from her throat. The spongy root had... Those weren't branches. It had fingers. 4 fingers, squeezed in a fist. An arm. Oh, God. Someone was buried in... Stifling a scream, the First Lady dropped the penlight, which fell into the hole. She jumped back, scrambling, crab-walking away from the pit. The press and early staff would be here any minute. Her body was shaking. Just don't scream.